Qigong breathing, and that's also Tai Chi breathing. So you think about breathing, in this case applies to both Tai Chi and Qigong exercise. So we know that the first step for people who are new to Tai Chi and Qigong is to start with return to childhood breathing, normal abdominal breathing, or Buddhist breathing. They all mean the same thing, which is expanding the abdomen as you inhale, gently pushing down on the pelvic floor, perineum, and contracting the abdomen as you exhale and gently lifting the perineum. We're using about 70 to 80% of our lung capacity. Our breathing should be deep but still relaxed. You know that on average, a person uses only about 50% of their lung capacity. So when we do abdominal breathing and we use 70 to 80%, we'll be activating lung cells that you may not be using routinely, which helps to keep the lungs healthy. When we do abdominal breathing, the diaphragm drops down 2.5 centimeters, which creates a nice massage for the organs below the diaphragm. Including right below the diaphragm, we have the kidneys and then the adrenal glands positioned right on top of the kidneys, right under the diaphragm. And then when we move the perineum, we also create a pumping effect that helps to circulate blood and qi through the organs below the diaphragm. So very healthy, but yeah, of course, not very pretty. Then, as you know, when the beginner gets accustomed to normal abdominal breathing, we encourage them to train reverse abdominal breathing, also known as Taoist breathing. And with reverse abdominal breathing, when we inhale, we gently pull in on the lower abdomen, gently lift the perineum. When we exhale, we gently push out on the lower abdomen, gently push down on the perineum. We want to keep the movement soft. And so in the beginning, we don't want to tense up. We don't want to tense up this area right below the diaphragm here. So in the beginning, we keep the movement small and confined to the lower abdomen down here rather than bring them up to here. As you gain control over your muscles and become more comfortable with reverse breathing, you can gradually enlarge the size of the movements. But one of the 8 key words for breathing, of course, is soft. We use reverse breathing in Tai Chi and Qigong whenever we have intention to move the Qi strongly. And of course, the intention to move the Qi strongly is an integral part of Tai Chi. And Certainly an integral part of most Qigong. We also want to get accustomed to placing the tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth, in the place where the roof of the mouth is most ticklish or sensitive. That's in order to strengthen the qi circulation in the governing and conception vessels, which will be important when we start to use the breathing to move the qi. And speaking of moving the qi, our first step in moving the qi then is to lead the qi in and out of the Youngchuan gates in the bottoms of our feet, kidney 1 points. Youngchuan means buckling well. Very important gate for exchanging qi with the earth. So in order to move the qi, we know the qi goes where the mind leads it. So when we exhale, and we're continuing the reverse breathing, so abdomen gently out, perineum gently down, we place our mind underneath our feet and visualize the qi flowing out the Youngchuan gates in the bottoms of the feet and into the earth. When we inhale, we return our mind to the real lower dantian and visualize breath and qi flowing in through the Youngchuan gates and into the dantian. Exhale, abdomen gently out, perineum gently down, mind under the feet. A trick you can play is to imagine your feet pressing into the earth, but it's just a thought, it's not muscle activation. And inhale, mind in the dantian, perineum gently up, abdomen gently in. And continue at your own pace with the Youngchuan breathing. Long, slow, deep, even, soft, slender, continuous breathing. Now you know if your feet begin to feel warm, that's a normal Qigong reaction. So what's Youngchuan breathing good for? Well, in Tai Chi, it strengthens our connection with the earth, strengthens our root. It helps increase the flow of qi to the muscles of the legs for martial power, which is generated, of course, from the root and through the legs. For health purposes, the Youngchuan breathing helps to improve qi circulation in the channels and vessels that run up and down the legs. 6 channels in each leg and 4 vessels. And for health as well, the Youngchuan breathing helps to regulate the qi in the organs below the diaphragm. Now we have and the next step is 4 gates breathing. So for 4 gates breathing, we're going to activate the Lao Gong gates in the center of the palms. We hold the hands like this, about hip height, palms facing the earth, wrists and elbows not too sharply bent. By that I mean we don't want to be like this. We don't want to be like this with the elbow sharply bent. Because if we bend the elbows or wrists sharply, we'll constrict the flow of qi. Now, when we inhale, mind in the lower dantian, abdomen in, perineum up. Visualize breath and qi flowing in through the Lao Gong gates and the Youngchuan gates into the lower dantian. Exhale, mind under the hands and feet. You can imagine hands and feet pressing down towards the earth. Abdomen out, perineum down gently. Visualize breath and qi flowing out through the 4 gates and into the earth. Inhale, mind in the dantian. Abdomen up, perineum in. Breath and qi flowing in to the dantian. Exhale, mind under the hands and feet. Abdomen gently out, perineum gently down. Breath and qi flowing out through the hands and feet. So now, if you feel tingling in your hands, that's normal Qigong sensation, indicating that you are indeed breathing in and out of the Lao Gong gates. So what is the Lao Gong breathing good for? We've added the Lao Gong, so let's call that Lao Gong breathing. And we're continuing with the Youngchuan breathing, of course, because 2 and 2 make 4 gates breathing. So we add the Lao Gong. Increases our ability to emit qi from our hands and fingers. For advanced martial Tai Chi Chuan, to strike the enemy's cavity points, acupuncture points. To energize, to lead additional qi to the muscles of the arms and shoulders, to energize those muscles for martial power. For health, the Lao Gong breathing helps to improve qi circulation in the 6 channels, then run up and down the arms. And helps to regulate qi circulation in the organs above the diaphragm and in the area above the diaphragm, because it includes not only heart and lungs and pericardium, if you like to include that as an organ, but also the chest area as a whole, which would include breast, for helping prevent qi stagnation that causes breast cancer. Now you can do 4 gates breathing with any Qigong routine, pretty much any Qigong routine. You can't do it if you're sitting. And is it clear why? Because if you're sitting, you can't do the Youngchuan breathing, because the joints of the hip and knees will be too sharply bent. And when someone that when the new student of Tai Chi gets comfortable with a portion of the Tai Chi form where the mind is no longer in what am I doing next and how do I do it, then the student can add 4 gates breathing, like we used to do in class. Now, one more step to get to Tai Chi Ball Breathing. And that's martial grand circulation breathing. It's called grand circulation because anytime you're leading Qi away from the small circulation, that's called grand circulation. So small circulation, you know, that's the conception vessel and the governing vessel. Okay? Grand circulation, that is any time you lead the Qi away from that circuit of governing and conception vessels. So if I had a nice tree here, I could do grand circulation with the tree, or grand circulation with heaven and earth. But I didn't just say grand circulation, I hope I said martial grand circulation, which means we're strengthening the flow of Qi to the shoulders, arms, hands, and fingers. But you remember why we have to do that. Because the flow of Qi down to the Youngchuan gates in the bottoms of the feet travels along what we might describe as Qi superhighways, the vessels that run up and down the legs. So that flow is strong. But the flow of Qi normally to the Lao Gong gates in the arms has to travel a difficult path, because the normal flow of Qi is out the front door to the lower dantian, which is at 2 inches below the navel. That's the yin jiao point. So out the yin jiao down to hui hian at the bottom of the torso, but then the Qi that goes to the arms has to come up the tailbone. And the tailbone is a difficult path, which tends to get more difficult as we get older. So there's not a lot of highly electrically conductive tissue in the area of the tailbone. Moreover, body fat is a Qi insulator. It's a non-conductor. So some of us accumulate body fat in the area of the tailbone, and that makes the path that Qi has to travel from the hui hian up and out the arms. It makes that path more difficult for the Qi to travel. So what do we do about that? How do we avoid constricting the flow of Qi to the Lao Gong gates in the arms? Well, we open the back door to the lower dantian. So front door is yin jiao, back door is ming men, governing vessel 4. Some big men, in order to open that big men gate more widely, we tuck the buttocks under, flatten the lower back, and that opens big men. Remember, the Ming Men is between L2 and L3. It's on the same level as your navel. So timing of opening the Ming Men. When we inhale, abdomen in, perineum up. Gauge when you've done halfway. So if you're filling your lungs to 80%, halfway would be lungs filled to 40%, okay? So then, halfway into your inhalation, you squat down slightly, tuck the buttocks under, flatten the lower back, and open the Ming Men. That opens the gate, but how do we get the Qi to go out of the gate? Qi goes where the mind leads it, right? So, we'll move our mind to a point on the governing vessel called Da Shui. Da Shui. Point number 14 on governing vessel. Right here, right below the bump on you, where your collarbone and the spine come together, right below there. Move the mind to Da Shui. Finish your inhalation. Qi flows up to Da Shui. Then exhale. Everything the same as with 4 gates. Mind under the hands and feet. Abdomen gently out, perineum gently down. Breath and Qi flowing out the 4 gates. Inhale, mind in the dantian. Abdomen in, perineum up, halfway. Tuck the buttocks under, move mind to Da Shui. Finish the inhalation. Exhale, mind under the hands and feet. Abdomen gently out, perineum gently down. Breath and Qi flowing out through the hands and feet. So, inhale, mind starts in the dantian. Abdomen in, perineum up. Halfway, squat down slightly, tuck buttocks under, move mind to Da Shui. Finish your inhalation. Exhale, mind under hands and feet, abdomen gently out, perineum gently down. Breath and Qi flowing out through the 4 gates. Continue at your own pace with martial grand circulation breathing. Now this is what you want to do in your Tai Chi form. Of course, only when your mind is fully confident about how to do the movements and how to coordinate the breathing. Your mind takes on the task of leading the Qi martial grand circulation. And why would we do that? To strengthen the flow of Qi to the hands for martial power, energize the muscles for martial power, to attack the opponent's cavity points with your Qi. And for Qigong purposes, it helps if you wish to exchange Qi with another person. You'll be able to lead Qi more strongly to that other person. Also, if you had ambitions to continue your training somewhere to become a Qi healer, you would want to use this to strengthen your ability to inject Qi to another person. Now notice in the Tai Chi form, we have those places in each movement where the buttocks are tucked under. And that is specifically, strengthens the structural integrity of the body by making the spine concave. But more importantly, in the old days when martial Tai Chi was a means of protecting yourself and staying alive, it allowed you to use the martial grand circulation with the movements. Well, and in the case of staying alive, with the applications of the movements. So in every Tai Chi movement, there is a place where we have buttocks tucked under, lower back flattened, and Ming Men open. Okay, when it end of the suspense, how do we do Tai Chi Ball breathing? That's simple. Turn the palms to face each other. Continue your martial grand circulation breathing. Except now it has become Tai Chi Ball breathing, also known as Tai Chi Ball of no ball. When you exhale, your mind will be under your feet as before, but now it will be between the palms. And as you exhale, you will likely feel your palms being pushed apart from the magnetic energy of the Qi that you're leading out beyond the palms. As you create a ball of Qi between the palms with each exhalation. As you inhale, you'll likely feel the palms drawn together and the ball of Qi will shrink. The ball of Qi between your palms will shrink. But if you're sensitive, if you have that internal Kung Fu of internal vision, they call it, you'll feel a ball of Qi in the lower dantian, the inner ball, but now will be a Qi ball. Whenever you inhale, that Qi ball in your lower dantian will grow. Now, when people say, well, I'm not sure if I feel the ball of Qi or not between my hands, I invite people then to misalign the hands. So instead of them facing each other, misalign them. Now, you may still feel the Qi, but it won't be pushing your palms apart. Or you may feel a little bit of movement to the sides as you exhale. But you won't feel nearly as strong a movement as when you exhale with the palms aligned together. With the palms apart, that movement will be greatly diminished. Okay, so now we have a ball of Qi between the hands, the ball of no ball. And we can do anything with this ball of Qi that we could do with a real ball. Usually the best thing to do when training Tai Chi Ball is to practice with your actual ball and just coordinate the breathing, just coordinate the inhalations and exhalations with your movements so that you get that part comfortably. And then practice the Tai Chi Ball Breathing, standing still or with very small, simple movements. And eventually, after some months, you can bring the two together, just like you would do with the Tai Chi form. You would bring the two together. So, and then you have complete Tai Chi. So that's the stuff that the legends were made of. When the people said of the people in ancient times, the Taoists of ancient times, that if they died at 120, they died young. That's because they did this stuff, okay? And they practiced the external and the internal. And as we know, the older we get, the more important the internal becomes. You don't want to abandon the external. But it's more important, it becomes increasingly important to add and increase the internal chi cultivation and circulation. Otherwise, like you see with many athletes, or maybe I should say former athletes, who when they get to be in their 60s or 70s, start to die. And you think, wow, somebody played for a football or pro wrestling, or was even like a marathon runner or something. Why didn't they live a long time? That's because all external. So if they don't go to the internal, cultivating their energy, they die from what's called chi dispersion. It's when your limbs take all the chi because they train. Your internal organs become starved. So unless you take measures to cultivate the internal, then you become very much out of balance.